Whitlock. Which of these two, to you, is the best in the league?
I'm going to keep it real simple. One team plays in the best division in football, the NFC. One team is 10-1. The other team is 9-2. I think you are what your record says you are. The Eagles are the better team. I think they have a better defense. I'll just keep it simple. Again, they play in the NFC. They got the best record in football. How can you go against the Philadelphia Eagles?
I could go against them for this reason. Every time New England gets to a Super Bowl, because if you're asking me who's the best, you're putting them in the biggest game. Every time New England goes to a Super Bowl, we thought Seattle had this young defense, and New England just controlled it. Last year, it's Atlanta's offense. Oh, my God, it's Atlanta's offense. In the end,
destroyed them.
3 and out. New England always plays the young, hot, NFC, you'll never beat them. And New England does their system, outplayed early first half, 8 minutes to go. Brady, Belichick, out-scheme, out-coach, and out-play. Philadelphia feels like Atlanta. They feel like that Cam team that played Denver. They feel like the Seattle. Remember, that Carolina team that faced Denver, that was one of the great, it was an energy play. The NFC keeps giving us these different teams.
Atlanta should have won the Super Bowl last year.
And they didn't. I trust I trust Belichick. I trust experience. I trust veterans. I trust the system. I trust Tom. Then they feel like red hot. The Patriots never feel like they're red hot. They feel like, this is the same great system to me.
Well, you know, I think I said it last week on a different show, but they're like Duke, you know, the Duke basketball team, just always doing it the right way. Everybody graduates, it's boring, but they're always in the Final Four. It seems like they're always going to win. But I agree with you. I'm going to go with Hall of Famers. That's who I would choose. That's who breaks it down for me. Go with Hall of Fame coach, best coach ever. Go with Tom Brady, best quarterback ever, arguably. The way they methodically go throughout the season, like we just talked about, nothing gets out of their approach to it. Peterson, Carson Wentz, they're on their way, it seems like. They got a good thing going. But in a big game, always bet Hall of Famer. Always. I'm telling you.
See, I'm not going to go against the Patriots because I know that they will end up deep into the playoffs, potentially in the Super Bowl. But this Philadelphia Eagles team, the way they win is so sustainable. With running the football, throwing the football, defense, special teams, they do it the right way, and they don't play down to their opponent's level. You don't see that with any other team in the league outside of the Patriots.
Right.
This is why I am a believer in the Philadelphia Eagles, because of the way they've been able to beat teams, whether they should beat them by a landslide or it should be a close game. They go into every game with the mindset that every team wants to. We're going to focus on this team. We're going to do what we do best, and we should win this game. And it's been working for them. That's why I believe in the Philadelphia
Think about
Eagles.
this. The Patriots won the Super Bowl last year without Gronk. This year they miss Edelman. I think it shows you the power of New England's system. I mean, every time I watch them when's the last time you turned on a Patriot game? You ever miss first 10 minutes of a football game? And you turn on a Patriot game and you went, whoa! And you're always like, oh, they lead 14-0. I mean, seriously, Steelers, you missed the first 8 minutes. They trail by 2 touchdowns to Green Bay. Their consistency, I don't think I've ever...
I watched last year's Super Bowl. They were getting dusted, and if the man had just run the ball, they would have lost that game. So, listen, I don't want to in any way denigrate the New England Patriots. Brady, Belichick, they're awesome. Greatest of all time. Someone has to have next. That is the reality of sports and the reality of life. There's always going to be, Michael Jordan, he doesn't go on forever. And LeBron carries the torch. Carson Wentz looks the part like he's got next.
Yeah.
And that has to start at some point. They are destroying teams. This, again, we don't have these teams like the 85 Bears that just ran over everybody. That's what Philadelphia is looking like every week. They're destroyed. Look at their point differential. I think it's 160 points. Anytime you lead the league in point differential, you generally play in the Super Bowl. And again, I think right now we expect the Patriots.
Who do you trust, Doug Peterson? Belichick, Peterson, 8 minutes left.
Well, again, I trust Belichick more. This young quarterback, though, I'm just...
Over Tom Brady? Come on now.
It's not a matter of over Tom Brady, but will he fold? I don't think he folds. I don't think he buckles. And that's what I love about him, because he's one of those guys that he doesn't care. They don't fear anyone because they're focusing. If we do what we do, we can win.
And Brady he took more hits yesterday.
Boy, he took a ton.
And Belichick's not letting him out of these games. Eventually, I'm just betting on Father Time at some point. And look, they'll get. I just think if Philly gets in the same spot as Atlanta this year with those two running backs they have in Philadelphia, they're going to run the ball and run out the clock. I think.
I
Carson Wentz
will
has
say
that.
this. The way to beat Saban has always been to find a quarterback that he can't scheme for. There is something to say about Carson. You can scheme for Matt Ryan because you know where he's going to be after the snap. Wentz makes plays that you can't scheme for. He made a couple against Chicago. I'm like, you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, John Fox, a good defensive coordinator. That was a top 10 defense.
He's got some Aaron Rodgers there.
A lot of Aaron Rodgers in
Aaron
it.
Rodgers.
Whitlock, did yesterday say more about the Rams or the Saints?
Wow. I think it said a lot about the Rams, to be quite honest with you. I was sitting there just really impressed with Jared Goff. I thought nothing of him a year ago. I think the world of him now this year. I thought that game said just a whole hell of a lot about the Los Angeles Rams and how seriously we should take them. I think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. I think they're the #1 threat to the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC. I'll just add this little bit, though. Something was up with Drew Brees yesterday, and that was a little concerning. He looked 38, 39 years old yesterday.
I'll tell you what blew me away, and I remember before the game I said to Greg, I said to you both yesterday on NFL Kickoff, I said, a veteran quarterback, Matt Ryan, you take away Julio. He's got Mohamed Sanu in the backs. Aaron Rodgers, you take. They took away Robert Woods. That was Jared Goff's security blanket, and he had his best game as a pro. Like I sat there and because I really was like, man, this could go sideways fast. He looked great. Maybe it's coaching, but that blew me away by Goff. You took away his security. If you take Zach Ertz away from Wentz and he was better, had his best game, you'd be like, okay, that's special.
It definitely says more about the Rams. The way they bounce back after a tough loss in Minnesota against the Vikings to come out on their home turf and beat a rolling New Orleans Saints team impressively. And one thing that impresses me most about the Rams, they start fast.
Yes.
And if you don't punch them back, they will keep punching you.
Yeah.
This is, and for a young quarterback to start fast, to get off to these fast starts and to make throws and have your receivers making plays for you and know that you have this Todd Gurley kid in the backfield that you can hand it off to or throw out in the flats and in routes. These are huge momentum builders going in deep into the season. I think this team is, again, I'm high on the Minnesota Vikings, but this team is a force to be reckoned with in the NFC.
Yeah, they proved something to me yesterday. I picked the Saints. I thought the Saints are the second best team next to Philly out of the NFC. They are loaded. And Jared Goff, I think that was probably the most impressive thing out of it because he took away Robert Woods. But Sammy Watkins, I think you got a #1 guy right there, and he got way more involved in this, and I think that's a good thing. Robert Woods not being there is probably going to help this team even better as they go down the road because now Sammy Watkins woke up or they used him more, and now you can take that with you going forward. But the Saints, I'm still not going to count them out. I think they're a different team at home. They don't lose at home. Drew Brees plays a lot better in that dome. They didn't have their 2 starting DBs. I'd like to see this game played with Lattimore, probably one of the best DBs. He's definitely, to me, he's got my vote, Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. That's a big deal when you don't have your shutdown corner in there. So I'd like to see this game played a little bit more even.
Yeah, we talk about gambling from time to time. There's a stat that Vegas gamblers really lean on, yards per play. Give the Saints credit. They were outplayed. They didn't have their 2 corners. They were on the road, and they were better yards per play than the Rams. That's impressive. Let's just know that game was 26-20. If you can go face Goff, face the Rams on the road, no 2 corners, and you lose by 6, I went to the box score after the game, and I'm like, man, their yards per play were almost 7.5. This Saints team is, listen, don't bury the Rams because they lost to the Vikings. Don't bury the Saints because they lost to the Rams. Saints are a good team.
Greg made an interesting point about them starting fast. Sean McVay, at the end of the game, was still trying to be hyper-aggressive.
He was.
Maybe too aggressive.
A little bit.
And it reminded me of like Mike Martz when he had the Rams rolling in St. Louis. He wants that hyper-aggressive team that's trying to score all the time.